Welcome back.
Hey, here we are. It's Mitch.
And I'm Keith.
And this is another edition of Layman's Term. And we have a very special guest.
Very special guest.
Dear friend of mine, Tess Martens.
Hello, everyone.
Has another name. If you know it, keep that to yourself. Hey, so Tess.
It's like I'm in the witness protection.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is. It is. So we have Tess here.
Hi.
And Tess, we have one question we have to ask before we'll allow you on the show, unless it's very special circumstances.
Very special circumstance.
Is or is you ain't clergy?
I ain't clergy.
You are not clergy.
Tell us your formal background. Any schooling at all?
No.
See?
All right, layman.
Welcome to the layman.
Welcome to the
Yes!
Layman's
I
Terms,
passed.
official
Oh.
stamp.
I was so worried. Yeah, I
All
got
right.
it.
So no formal theological background education, no seminary experience. All right.
No, absolutely
Perfect.
none.
We've only ever had one on here who was.
Only one.
He's a great guest. It was special circumstances.
Very
right.
special circumstance.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm 21 years old. I'm a college student. I study music, and I've been a member of this church for 21 years.
All right. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Ooh.
All shades. Kind of like the blue you're wearing.
Oh
on your
yeah,
shirt.
we're gonna save that for later.
gonna
But I
save
do
it?
want to talk about this blue shirt, though. We'll do that at the end.
We'll do that at the
Yeah,
end.
we'll do
That'll
that
be
at the
fun.
end.
Hey,
Yeah.
but this blue shirt.
I want
It's
to
a
talk about that
great
blue shirt.
shirt.
You are looking mighty dapper.
Yeah.
We have for all the listeners and not video watchers out
good,
there.
Good thinking.
Mitch has a nice short sleeve, kind of white
Feel
with
it,
some
feel
blue.
it,
What
feel
is
Summery.
it?
Feel
the
What is
fabric.
it? Like, oh man,
It's kind of like a
that's
golf.
nice.
It is kind
It's
of
kind of like a golf shirt.
Yeah, and some darker blue pants to match.
Shorts, actually.
Shorts.
shorts,
That's
yeah.
right. That's
Which
right.
Keith calls pants shorts because he doesn't distinguish between the two. He
He
wears
just wears
shorts.
shorts.
I just
that's
wear shorts.
pants.
So they are. He just because I think historically they were referred to as short pants.
Pantaloons.
We yeah,
We just
got
cut off
pantalones.
the-
yeah,
We just cut off.
yeah.
the-
It was the pants part was implied.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
So tell us about this
Wasn't
shirt,
Hey,
man.
got a new shirt.
Yeah.
I love
have
it.
a new shirt. Got this shirt. and
No pocket.
Just
There is no pocket.
That's okay.
It's all right. So went to DC
Oh,
with
fun.
the family.
Oh yeah.
Little business trip my wife was on, and we tagged along, the boys and I, and so everybody's pretty sharp, pretty snazzy in DC. Like
that's
it's
right.
pretty business formal,
Oh,
like
yeah.
everywhere,
All the time. Suits everywhere.
Yeah,
Even at the McDonald's.
yeah, everything was. So underdressed, not normally doesn't bother me, but so we go out to dinner. And we wore like the one collared shirts we had.
Yeah.
The boys and I, we put our collared shirts on, went to dinner.
Pop the top.
Yeah, we had little polos at dinner. Still the most casual people there, but we had collars.
All right.
And we had a lovely dinner, and we were on vacation. And
What'd you eat?
It was a place called I'll come up with the name of it, but it was a collective of restaurants all in one building.
Oh,
And
kind of like Parlor here.
yes, it was a shared menu.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then
Yeah.
so then you selected what you want, and it came from all the different restaurants.
Oh, fascinating.
There, so
I've never heard of that.
it was
Oh,
it
it's
was really
super.
cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cool, and they're all these restaurants under one roof. So it was like anyway, and it was, as Dave Ramsey says, you save money to go on vacation. You don't go on vacation to save money, right? So it's like
got it.
We're having the fun beverages. Owen has this lovely, like handmade, like strawberry lemonade,
Yeah,
right?
right, yeah.
It's the one
Artisan. It's artisan.
like
it's the lemonade
ground by
it's
hand.
the lemonade.
Yeah.
It's the lemonade that does not have free refills.
Right,
Right.
right.
That's right.
So like
Not the theme park.
it's the
lemonade.
$6 lemonade,
Yeah.
right?
You're kind of like easy on the eyes.
yeah. So like
So we can get more lemonade.
yeah. So like the third after about 3 of these.
You're like, okay, no more.
Yeah. and so anyway, Owen, I'm telling too much about him here, but anyway, we have a mid-dinner restroom break.
Okay.
And then we have a post-dinner restroom break.
Sure.
And
yeah.
then it's like, all right.
I mean, 3 lemonades.
3 lemonades, right?
Yeah.
So great. So then we're going on a walk.
Oh,
We're going to
yeah.
go on this little walk, and there's this nice bakery, not a sponsor, so they'll rename.
I don't think they'll ever be a sponsor.
Okay,
us.
good. Well, and
Little
it's,
Debbie's.
and it's a French name.
Oh,
so
like
I don't
Le Croissant or
something like that.
Croissant.
Exact, a little
Yeah.
Frenchy bakery.
Little croissant.
in
croissant.
Georgetown, which was
Ooh.
yeah.
Probably fancy.
people use this East Coast like everyone's.
Let's go down to Georgetown.
Everybody's supposed to know there.
Supposed to?
Exposed to dough.
Oh
They're
my gosh.
exposed to the.
Exposed to dough because you went to a bakery.
So we walked to this bakery. It's a mile away.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
you walked
I think I
a
see where this
mile?
is going.
Well, it was almost a mile. So anyway, we get like halfway to the bakery, and no one's like, "Man, I gotta go to the bathroom." We're like, "Are you kidding me?" Right? And restrooms, everybody's stingy with their restroom in DC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Only for paying customers.
Oh yeah, and there's like passcodes,
Yeah.
and
No,
you
yeah.
got to know the magic word.
Sometimes the plaza's like that
Yes.
too now.
Yeah.
And even if you save the passcode, like
It
think you're being
changes,
slide,
yeah.
they
Yeah.
change it.
Yeah.
I did that on the plaza once, and I literally tried to find the cheapest thing in the store.
Yeah.
And I bought it, and they didn't give me a passcode, and I was like, can I have a passcode?
Yeah.
They're like,
What?
like
You didn't spend enough
because
money?
I didn't spend enough
Enough
money.
money?
And I'm
Okay,
like, look,
if you
I
go
just-
up there looking real pathetic, like look really like you've been walking around for hours and there's no bathroom in sight, they'll sometimes pity you and give it to you. But you gotta look real sad. Or send your kid up there.
Yeah, I think that would work if I was like, hey, my kids really got to go.
Yeah.
Because my kids are cute.
That's right.
I'm not.
That's
They'd be
right.
like, buy something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wouldn't care. Anyway.
Go
So we
ahead.
I was like, you can go at the bakery, you can go at the bakery, you can
All
go
right.
at the bakery, because we're going to get to the bakery and we're going to buy stuff.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So we finally get to the
Two birds with
bakery.
one stone.
Yeah, we get to the bakery, we go in. I was like, all right, let's, you guys pick out whatever you want. I'm talking to Laura and Grant, and I look at the guy across the table. I was like, yeah, we're going to get some stuff. I said, hey, and this kid is dancing, got to go to the bathroom, got one we can use. He goes, nope.
No.
Oh,
pain.
And I look down the hall, like
Oh.
right on the side of the bakery, and there at the end of the hall, lo and behold,
no.
a bathroom. I was like,
No.
what about the bathroom?
Yeah.
And he goes, not public. And,
What?
right? And
Then you're like, okay, guess we're not buying anything
right?
now.
So then I didn't have time to, like,
I'm so nervous.
kids
over
dancing
this.
around, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just look at the guy and go, where's the nearest one someone can actually use? Right?
Yeah.
And he goes, TJ Maxx.
What?
And
It's a
Where's
mile
TJ
away.
Maxx?
we walked by TJ Maxx, so I knew where it was, right? It was
Why
like-
didn't you just take him into TJ Maxx if you were walking by?
because
you're
I
making
didn't
a
know
point.
TJ Maxx was the special restroom place in Georgetown, right?
Right.
Designated.
I didn't know.
restroom.
I thought I was going
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
thing. So I was like, Owen, here we go. I was like, see, Laura and Grant left them at the bakery. Owen and I, we're gonna beat feet
to the TJ Maxx.
to the TJ Maxx.
Oh,
Dude, this is
gosh.
where you just find an alley.
It was like
somewhere in a
halfway back
dumpster,
to where
man.
Yeah.
So anyway, we make it all the way to TJ Maxx. We go in. It's
Mm.
a scavenger hunt for the
Yeah,
restroom.
yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
No signs. No
Yeah,
signs.
but
Yeah.
we find it. We find the restroom. He does it. I hit up the clearance rack. Bam, here's this shirt. Because they didn't require you to buy something. I felt like
This is the
I needed
longest.
to.
This is the
You
longest
spent
story.
a second and a half on the punchline and 10 minutes on the setup.
This is the longest story
For
for a
that.
shirt buy.
You guys don't know
ever.
me. Do you guys not know me? Have we not met before?
If
Wow,
you are still
Mitchell,
listening
wow.
to this podcast, I
Wow.
appreciate
That was one of the
that.
better stories. Oh, my.
Wow.
Okay.
All
Anyway,
right.
welcome to the show.
Okay.
Tess Martens, you tell us about your shirt. Is it vintage?
It's not vintage.
It's a fake. All right.
No. It's actually exclusive concert merch from a concert that I went
Oh.
to.
All right.
What concert?
I love
The Maverick
concert
City Music concert. This is not an endorsement or a sponsorship. It was
They
a great
could be.
concert.
Where's
though.
Maverick City?
They're based in Atlanta, Georgia.
So Atlanta's known as Maverick City?
No.
No.
That's just their name. That's just their name. That's the name of the band.
Oh, it's the band. Sorry.
Yes, the band name. I'm sorry, that was confusing. Setup.
That wasn't confusing.
Well,
and
Mitchell's a
actually
layman.
completely
He's
normal.
also a middle-aged man that doesn't know many pop culture references.
It's fine.
It is fine.
I don't know who it is either.
It's
but
cool.
I
Yeah.
understand.
Oh,
it
I've
wasn't,
sang their songs here.
I just know the Austin City Limits Music Festival
right.
isn't a band.
That's
Keith.
right.
It's
not
a
band.
music
It is-
festival.
Oh, this is
'cause
bad.
It says
This is-
festival.
This is old blood. I've walked into something.
No?
Oh,
You just walked into a room with old people.
Let's talk about why we're here. So
All right.
we're on a series. We're doing a
We're
few
talking
shows.
about unlikely friends, and here
of
we are,
unlikely friends.
two middle-aged men,
two middle-aged men,
which means
we
we're
are
halfway to death.
unlikely.
We're unlikely.
Some are a little further than halfway.
That's true.
So we are unlikely friends.
What?
Yeah, big
Oh,
time.
yeah.
If
You
you
should
didn't
listen
listen
to
to
last
last
week's
week's
podcast.
podcast,
Oh, I'm
you
sorry.
should. Because
We're
we can
very
talk in
unlikely
unison but that's about it. It's about where it stops.
All right.
So he likes video games and Star Wars. Now, on to you.
Yeah.
You're now half our age.
That's right.
And hanging out here at the table.
Yeah.
And we're good friends.
I agree. Yeah.
I've learned a lot from you.
Ditto.
You're great with like helping give a fresh perspective to not only theology and scripture, but the interpretations of it. And we like to kick stuff back and forth. And
True.
One of our favorite things to do is I'll say something and you'll completely disagree.
That's right, everybody. That's right.
nice.
There's a lot of healthy disagreements happening between Mitchell and I, and it's one of my favorite things about our
Yeah, can't remember
our
last time
friendship.
we agreed
on something. That's
yeah.
actually true.
Wow.
Yeah, it's normally
That's
very
fascinating.
benign things as well, like foods, songs, music, and TV. But theology and church we disagree on most.
Oh, a lot.
okay.
Yeah, quite a bit. Actually.
Not normal stuff like you like coffee. You like coffee.
I do.
See,
Yeah,
you agree.
we do.
I also have another great story we'll maybe get
Hold on.
into. We'll get into later.
Pepsi or Coke.
Coke.
So,
Pepsi or Coke. You got to pick.
well, it only has a story with it because I don't really
Mitchell!
drink.
No story.
I don't drink
Pepsi
either.
or Coke. Pepsi or Coke. If you had to.
Because my
Pepsi, that's
grandfather used
disgusting.
I know.
That's disgusting.
See, I'm telling you why though.
Pepsi,
That's
no,
so gross.
no.
That's so
it's just
gross.
It's
Pepsi or
purely
Coke.
nostalgia because my grandfather served it to me. That was the
Just
only
All
reason.
right, fine.
Disgusting.
Sorry. I don't
Pepsi.
drink either one of them.
Sorry.
Dr. Pepper's the answer.
if
That's
Dr.
actually
Pepper-
so true.
That's-
See, we're agreeing.
Dr. Pepper, I would agree with Dr. Pepper,
Agreeing.
but-
Pepsi and Coke's a stupid question.
Here's
That is a stupid question.
here's the thing, right? If Pepsi came to us and said we want to be a sponsor,
We'd say no.
I'd be like, you can be a sponsor, but I'm still gonna say your beverage is the worst.
Yeah. Like we'll cut to like a nice ad where we read
know.
word for word the script you've given us, but off camera and also not during your ads
Yeah,
time.
I'm gonna be like, that was totally scripted because they're a sponsor.
Yeah.
because their product is garbage.
Garbage. Agreed.
There we go.
All right, awesome.
All right, so Tess.
Yeah.
You have grown.
That's right.
Grown up in this church. You've grown in this church in faith.
Mm-hmm.
You've grown in this church in community and relationship. You've stretched and grown through those relationships with both people older than you, people younger than you. You've helped with Vacation Bible School.
Yeah.
You've been a mentor to younger kids. You are the younger generations admire you. Your musical leadership. The older generations are impressed by your musical leadership. You have you've wowed and astonished us with your musical leadership. I
Thank
know
you.
I'm showering you with praise, but
that's
it's
great. That's what I came for.
But good. It's your generation's trademark.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Hurts. That hurts. It's true though.
So
Praise me, please.
I'm wrapping it up. But I want to hear more about your development and growth at the peer level, growing up through our church with youth, and more specifically, those opportunities you had to experience camps or missions as a youth within church life.
Right.
And tell us a story.
Okay. Well, the story is that I've grown up in this church. My parents attend here every Sunday. My grandparents, both my mom and dad's parents, attend here every Sunday. So I, in turn, also did. And I was a very passive member of things, as children are, like coming because they are forced to. But then when I became of age to participate in youth group programming, I was fully invested, did everything that I could. I went on quite a few mission trips, namely to like Indiana. We did a lot of in Missouri stuff as well. Went to church camp every summer as soon as I could, all the time. And it wasn't until I think when I look back on it, I think I can definitely say it was junior high age. I was like probably 14 or 15, and I went to church camp, and that time was different because after that summer at camp, I truly like can look back and say, because it's hard when the kids like I grew up in church and you ask like, when did you really accept Christ? Like that's a hard question to answer because you've been in conversations and in cultural contexts with Jesus for your whole life, but being able to really pinpoint a time when I accepted Christ and like gained the wisdom of or the guidance of the Holy Spirit, that's difficult. But if I could put a time on it, it would be at church camp. They always have like Thursday night, the night before you leave, is like the night when it gets real. Like no fun illustrations, no fun and games, put the water balloons away, like we're getting to the heart of the gospel and like you're going to be encountered by a real God on Thursday night. It's like baptism night, is what they call it. And communion night. And so you go to like this outlook over the lake and like there's this outdoor chapel and like they strip down the acoustic worship set to like just the guitar and the cajon and everyone's like so in tune with like the emotions of it all. But I felt like sitting there, I really repented of my sins, asked for God's guidance, and then they anoint you with oil, like the leaders anoint you. And then you just like, I remember the walk back to the cabin and I was like, something's different. Like I've gone to camp my whole life and like youth group is fun and I enjoy hanging out with my friends, but like something's different this time. And also everyone else was having the same walk back to the cabin. Like no one was talking. We just walk. We were just thinking like something's different. Like I encountered something different that night and I'm not going to be the same after.
Yeah.
So then we came home from camp and like had some time to like talk about that collective experience that we all individually had with our own personal savior, but like got to come together and be like, yeah, we all had the same encounter. What are we going to do about it now? And so that was when we came back, kind of organized that girls' Bible study, and then just continued in like life-to-life discipleship for the rest of my high school experience. And so that, because of church camp and because of the group that had previously been formed through like the foundational kind of like getting to know you relationally stuff, that was the foundation to set me up for a community of like-minded believers that fostered my faith and spiritual disciplines. That's like vital. You can't do that stuff by yourself, especially when you're at such a formative age, when the world is so loud and like trying to conform you to the world. It's like you need those people to kind of like hunker down with.
Yeah, you kind of created an environment of like grace and truth.
Yeah.
That without the grace,
Yeah.
you can't accept the hard truth.
That's right.
Yep.
And
Without the hard truth, you never fully know like how much you need the grace and how
Yes,
sweet it
exactly.
is. Like you have to have both. And I like every single ingredient of that experience happened at the perfect time with the perfect amount of intensity and whatnot. Like everything just kind of flew together. And I can only
This
see
is
that in hindsight.
so providential. We had a leadership team meeting last night, and the devotional that was shared within that, we were talking about the scripture we had was from Samuel, but Samuel was Eli was the prophet, and Samuel was just in training with him. Samuel's a boy, and this is
Yeah.
where he hears the voice of God
Yep,
calling out to
yep.
him. Doesn't know who it is and has to go. Anyway,
right.
it says in there, Eli is sleeping with the Ark of the Covenant, right?
Yeah.
And it says he previously didn't know God,
Wow.
right? And that's kind of like what you were saying. Like,
Yeah.
you've been such an entrenched part.
Right.
And it wasn't that there was anything wrong. You just had a paradigm shift where there was a time before
Yeah.
and a time after. And just like, like Samuel, he was there
Yeah.
in the house of the Lord, sleeping in the ark room.
Yeah. Wow.
And
That's so good.
wasn't recognizing the
One of
voice of
my
God, but
favorite-
then he does recognize who it is.
One of my favorite songs right now has a lyric at the beginning. It's like, I want to know more than just my mother's faith because that's not enough to get me through the rough. And that's what it would have been should I have kept relying on just kind of like nominal cultural Christian lifestyle and not have had that point where I was able to, away from my parents, away from the context of whatever had been like forcing me to go to church every Sunday, I was forced with a decision to make for myself with the influence of peers, but I never felt like I had to make it because they were doing it. Like I just wanted it so bad. Like the love and admiration for my creator just like bubbled up and I just like couldn't ignore it. And that's when like, yeah, you aren't making that decision because of obedience to your parents. You're making it obedience to like your Father in heaven, which is that was sweet for me.
And I would, we've talked about this before. I would say what's interesting about the story is if today you could go back to 14-year-old you
Yeah.
or 11 or whatever and tell that story, you wouldn't understand it.
No.
Right?
No.
And so when you're listening to somebody give that kind of testimony, if you've never experienced it yourself,
Yeah.
it's hard to understand until you do.
That's right.
And then you're like, yeah, that, I remember that time for me, right? So it's just kind of an interesting, conversation piece where it's like, if you're listening and you've never experienced anything like that,
Yeah.
keep going, keep
Yeah.
trying.
And
It'll happen.
Yeah, it's
You just
harder
have
as
to-
I get. It's harder for me to tell that story too. The farther I get away from the things I was experiencing at that time as well, because when I think about sharing that story with like the middle school girls' Bible study that I was with, yeah, that version of the story would be cute to them, but like they wouldn't see themselves in it unless I was able to say like, yeah, like when I was that age, like I had friends that weren't very good friends, and they frustrated me for a reason that I can now pinpoint. But like back then, I just knew they were frustrating. They didn't make me feel good. And then I met these other friends that believed in the Bible and like loved Jesus, and they were good friends to me. And I started to feel real, true, unconditional love, one from the Lord, but also from those friends. And so I don't know. That's maybe something I try is like look at the people in your life and I can bet you that the difference between the friends that you feel most loved and safe around are the ones that you have that common agreement and shared mission of loving Jesus and loving other people like he did, and the people that you don't so much get along with are the ones that don't have that. So I don't know, but that's hard. Like the farther you get away from that experience, the harder it is to tell that story in a relatable way that they can see themselves in it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So then coming back, one thing I picked up on too is you had this you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Right? Like away from your parents, away from home.
Yeah.
In different places.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Around different people.
I'm going to say probably you're talking about your multiple friend groups. Probably the kids you ended up going to church-related stuff with weren't probably quotations your best friends from school or from sports or from, right? There was a different group. You're different circles you were involved in
That's
in
right.
the church circle.
But you would have never been friends had you not come together.
And you came together. You made that decision to go step out there, go to a camp, and you gained community.
Yes.
In that camp, and then you kept it going when you got back, which was pretty cool.
Yes.
Then what I heard is that you keep looking for opportunities. It's not just like a one and done.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't, now things change.
Was like, oh, that was good.
Things change.
Right.
See you later.
Yeah, things change. And that circles are going to change. And you may still not be in, those were pivotal relationships for that time. You may have maintained one or two of them. I don't know, maybe all of them.
Oh, I mean, I'm in one of them's getting married. I'm in her wedding in October.
Wonderful.
Lifelong friends, for sure.
So you got some lifelong friends out of it. But
Absolutely.
But then your circle of grace and truth that you're in now,
Yeah.
I understand that's a little different too.
Yeah.
With your kind of new college cohort,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, I mean,
And the evolution
right.
to that next group.
Right. Well, we did the high school girls Bible study pretty much all of high school, and it was great. And I mean, it's not. There's no comment, negative or positive. Just like the way that life goes on and evolves and changes.
Yeah.
Like you have to shift and evolve with it when it comes to those affinity groups that you're around. So yeah, we all moved to college, and everything changes when you move to college. Because yeah, if you do move out of your parents' house, you're living on your own without their kind of like forced boundaries that are not forced, but like the boundaries of living in your parents' house. So I definitely flailed around for a little bit, like trying to understand.
Weird.
Yeah,
Weird.
I know.
That's shocking.
I know. Nobody really could have
No,
guessed.
nobody would ever do
would have
that.
guessed. That's not really a normal story to like have a hard time figuring it out once you get to college. But I flailed around for a little bit, until just like casually, I was walking around campus, and there was a student ministry group giving out free coffee from like a coffee cart, and I got to talking to this girl. Her name's Chloe, and
My cat's name.
that is your cat's name. But this is a real person. Her name is Chloe.
Not a cat.
Not a cat. And we just got talking, and she just really cared about my life, like wanted to get to know me. And slowly I just began to share more and more of my story with her, and we started meeting more often. And it's hard to know like totally when it happened, but we just all of a sudden we were doing discipleship, one-on-one discipleship. We were meeting together, read the Bible together. She was teaching me so many things about like just how to take my faith to the next level, to like care about spiritual disciplines and like confess sin and pray for people and share my faith. Really, like we would go initiative evangelism like across campus.
You'd
just
say
like
iron was sharpening iron.
yes, absolutely. Thank you for that. And that's a big part of the relationship too, is it's like, it's mutual. Like
Yeah.
me and Chloe just had this conversation yesterday. Like I need her and she needs me.
Just like you and I, our arguments.
That's right. I mean, every bit of it. It's
Keith, our arguments.
It's not a one way.
I'm not sure our arguments are beneficial to
in
each
any
other.
way.
In any way, shape, or form.
But I think like we both get something out of that relationship because discipling a person is a natural step in spiritual maturity. Like being able to take what you learned and teach it to another person. That's biblical. So we both get something from it. But I'd say that was the most formative part of college is meeting Chloe and getting plugged into then like the Navigators, which is the campus ministry that she works for, that spiritual community, and just laboring together is that. But yeah, it's changed a lot. But thankfully, I've been able to like involve like the friends that I met in high school that I'm still keep up with. They get involved in Navigator stuff too. So there's overlap for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting how you can read scripture on your own, and you can have all the study guides in the world, right? But that's one thing, but it's another thing to talk to someone else who maybe has a different perspective or reads it a little bit different, and then it totally changes kind of your your understanding of it.
Yeah.
And they don't even have to be world-renowned experts on the Bible.
No, it's
They could
actually better if they're not.
Right, exactly. You probably know more, and you can talk to somebody, and they're like, well, I kind of read it this way. And you're like, whoa. Never thought of that.
And that's kind of that. I think that's the unlikely friend part too.
Oh, for sure.
The more you can, the more you can broaden your spectrum of conversation with this, the more it doesn't turn into an echo chamber.
Right.
Right.
And it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to sit in a room of 6 or 7 or 8 people, and you feel like the person that hasn't read the Bible the most.
Yeah.
Right. When everybody's like, "Oh, that reminds me of
I know.
that reminds me of Eli and the story of Samuel," and then you're like, "Oh man, I don't know that one."
I do, but I'm just saying. I prefaced that really well with
You did.
just last night.
I know,
Yeah.
I know,
Like-
I know, but I'm just pointing out, like, you sometimes get in those groups and everybody's like, oh, well, this and this
Right.
and this, and that reminds me of
No,
this.
I do.
And
know
then I
do know sometimes people do that. I could have really busted out the Eli saying
Yes,
it, but I
you
was
do
like,
that.
I
You
actually
do that.
don't know. We just talked about it last night. I
Yeah.
don't do that.
Sometimes.
No, I'm not saying that you do. I'm just.
I prefaced that
I'm
really
just-
well with this.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
did a good
blaming
job.
you. Mitch.
This came
I'm
up
just
yesterday,
saying, generally speaking, a lot of times in the group,
Yeah.
I'm maybe that know-it-all guy.
Yeah.
Always.
And I appreciate the people that maybe don't have the knowledge because they can look at it different than I can.
That's so beautiful. Everyone bringing their own history with God and their own life experience to the word and like letting it, as long as, we say this, but as long as like we don't get too nebulous and like far off into the commentaries and the like different people, because then I think we get nuanced and like away from the truth. And I think this is one strategy that we use at college with the Discovery Bible studies that we do is cross-referencing other scriptures is not allowed. Like if you're going to make an observation on the text we're reading, it has to be observable from that text, and you can't bring anything else into it, because it makes people feel, I know I'm not imposing that rule on us right now, but I'm just saying that's something really
this
helpful.
podcast wouldn't exist
because
then.
at college, the people that you meet at college, like everyone's coming from so many different backgrounds. Like you're right, some people have like already line for line read all of the Old Testament and like can quote it because that's what they've been doing since childhood, but other people have converted late in life and like haven't even really touched it. So to set that ground rule from the beginning, like if you're going to make an observation, it has to be what everyone else is looking at too, and the same thing that everyone else is reading. It just kind of levels the playing field, and it helps the people that don't have as much experience like come up to the same level, and then it also helps the people that have a lot of knowledge of it really dig in and like find something new. That maybe
But are
they've
you
never
allowed to
seen
bring
before.
in like the context? Because that for me,
Sometimes you need a little context.
Yeah,
for me
as long as
drives me nuts.
I know.
Like,
You can
we're gonna
bring-
pull out this one line.
No.
They
We're
didn't-
always reading. We're always reading like a clearly definable chunk where you like as long as you make an observation from something everyone else is looking at too.
And
So-
the facts of like where it was written, who wrote it, who it
Sure.
was written to. Like,
Well, and
Sure.
I also think like sometimes, and I don't have a really great example off the top of my head. You probably
we
do.
never do.
But like I think of like especially with the 4 main gospels, like if you're reading Matthew, sometimes Luke has a extra information in
Right.
it of the same situation, right? And so sometimes it's okay to like look at that same story potentially from a different writer's perspective, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It's all under the guise of just like making sure everyone feels welcome to observe and comment and not feel silenced by the fact that they can't weave together the greater narrative because they haven't been exposed to it.
Correct.
Like it's just
Yeah.
making observations based on what you're reading and then building the foundation to be able to one day, like once you've built some trust and rapport with the group, be like, okay, we're opening the floor up to cross references, because that's a beautiful part, because that's when you can see the cross references, you see that the whole Bible from front to back is a story of the gospel about Jesus. And that's such a beautiful revelation to make in your spiritual maturity, is that it's all pointing back to one thing. And then, but it takes time to get to that area, like to get to that point to know that.
So would you or would you not say
Oh gosh.
that this is an important thing that you plan on keeping up into adulthood?
What is this? Define this.
This community with others and having these discussions outside of Sunday morning worship.
Oh, I'm going to look right at the camera when I say this. I would lose my marbles without it. Like I would be so like dysfunctional and like
So you would recommend all us middle-aged people who have lost and beyond, hold on, and beyond who've gotten caught up in, wrapped up in, and life happens, right?
Life happens.
yeah.
Rapidly sometimes.
Rapidly
In
from
rapid
all
succession,
angles, right?
yeah.
And sometimes those faith-based unlikely friends,
Yeah.
or those unlikely friends that you can have a faith-based conversation with, and iron sharpening iron situations,
Yeah.
sometimes fall to the wayside.
Yeah.
And you would tell us right now
I bet.
in a recording that you can come back and listen to 20 years from now.
Yes. Everything lives on the internet, and I'm saying that if you have neglected to meet together, as some do, that could be one. I mean, it might not be the root, but that's harmful to your spiritual health.
Which trickles down into emotional,
Which trickles to
physical.
everything. Yeah.
I agree. Yep. And I would say this to you, like, and I say this to not everyone because people might get offended, but I'll say it now.
Okay.
In life, you have priorities.
Yes.
Okay. And in life, you have to prioritize some things over other things, right? And you have to prioritize this time with God above almost everything else,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because if you don't, it's easy to let a kid's soccer game or a Maverick City concert or
Okay.
whatever
That's enough.
be like, ooh, that I really want to do that. And then it's
Yeah.
easy to skip that time
Yeah.
and then skip it again and then skip it again and then skip it again. And the next thing you know,
Yeah,
you're
so
skipping
I'd say
it because
you got to set
cream.
time apart for
Both.
both. And
Yeah.
what's cool is you can do this right here. What
Yeah.
we're talking about, this community, this this spiritual growth of spending time together with others in faith.
Yeah.
You can do this with ice cream.
yeah, or
Right,
you can do
right.
it any time.
You don't have
Yeah.
to wear a
Right.
fancy shirt
No.
and come to a
It
church
is a
building.
very
No.
fancy shirt.
It's
Right?
a very fancy shirt.
Or
at a
wear,
very
the same
specific
shirt I
at
wear
a
all the
very
time.
specific time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a common quote, like I'm sure you've heard it, that if Satan can't like cause you to lose your faith or like dive off into the lake of sin, he'll just keep you busy enough to not realize that you're neglecting
Yep.
to like keep up with your spiritual health. Like, and I heard an acronym that like busy stands for being under Satan's yoke. So I mean, put that on, slap that on a t-shirt
Wow.
because
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
I mean, I don't think our souls were made for the lifestyle. That's
that's
so
as-
American. It's so cultural. Like,
That's like a barbecue side
you need,
dish.
you
That's
need to
know.
tell that.
cheesy
You need to
and
tell that.
corny.
You need to tell that to Adam. He'll use that. In his
Oh,
sermon.
he will.
okay, well,
He'll love
I'll
it.
let him know. But it's like I
He
don't know.
doesn't
You
listen to the podcast,
You
so.
physically like you can't be busy and look at other things and look at Jesus. Like you just can't do both things. And I
Yeah.
think that's a lie that we're all believing, is that you can keep up this like busy and like I feel so productive and so like proud of myself that I'm so accomplished, and then also submit to the Lord and like do all the things that we're trying to do
Yeah.
to live like we should.
So we're gonna sort of end it there.
Okay.
I think
Oh,
that's
but we're
because
not.
we're out of standard time.
We're out of
So
standard
that's
time,
the-
but with someone new and awesome on the
Yes.
podcast, we got to hit them up with the rapid fire question.
rapid
right.
fire. So you can't think about it.
Sure.
You just gotta
Sure.
do it.
All
And
right.
then you do this or that, right? And I do rapid fire.
You do both. Let's do it.
All right.
Oh wow, okay.
All right. Favorite main course?
Barbecue.
All right.
Sucker.
Favorite candy.
It's like Airheads ropes, like the really sour ones.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. TV show.
Friends.
All right. Color.
Blue.
Movie.
Sherlock Holmes. The Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey.
It's
Jr.
so good.
That is a good one.
Sport.
Formula One. It's a sport.
Okay, yeah, I'm okay
Fascinating.
with that.
Thank you.
Fascinating.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sport team.
Oh, the Kansas Jayhawks men's basketball team.
Okay.
Fascinating.
Thank you.
Holiday.
My birthday. Or all birthdays.
Oh, spoken like a true. What's your generation? Anyway.
All birthdays.
Me,
I love,
me, me, me,
I
me,
love
me.
all
Me, me,
birthdays.
me,
I love
me.
everyone's birthday. I love any chance I can get to celebrate somebody.
birthday.
I
I
love
love that.
birthdays
I
because
love
it's
that.
just about
It's
the
a good
person.
answer.
Thank
Favorite
you.
condiment.
Ketchup.
All right.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
That is
Okay.
gross. Warm ketchup might be the grossest.
Ew.
More mayonnaise.
I'd eat warm mayonnaise. All right. Musical artist.
It has to be like a solo song singer songwriter, or it could be a band. Oh,
art,
okay.
whoever.
Okay, well,
First one out of the head.
I mean, my North Star for worship music is Upper Room, the team in Dallas. Everything. Look up their worship moments on YouTube. They're just amazing. Musically intelligent.
Who is it?
Upper Room.
Upper Room. Okay.
Upper Room. Yeah.
Not the upper room that we have.
No,
in the
not the
lobby.
devotional
Not
magazines.
the devotional
no.
magazine.
The church. The
okay,
church.
I'm just making
Upper
sure
Room.
that this is actually a band.
All right. Moving on.
Okay, so
Okay.
this is what we call this or that. Okay, so you have to
Whoops. Sorry.
you have to choose one.
Okay.
This is super
You
rapid
can't
fire.
say neither.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, all right.
No, I got it.
Steak or fish?
Steak.
Ooh, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Winter or summer?
Winter.
Sandals or tennis shoes?
Tennis shoes.
Pizza or sandwich?
Sandwich.
Now, bonus question: is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Incorrect.
All right. We'll argue about that
Breakfast
later.
or lunch?
Breakfast.
Orange juice or apple juice?
Orange.
T-shirt or dress shirt?
I mean, probably dress shirt.
Okay. Turtleneck or
I
sweater?
feel like I had an influence on
Turtleneck.
that answer.
Be quiet.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone. Duh.
Windows or Mac?
Mac. Sorry.
Christmas or Easter?
Easter.
Me too.
Nice.
I like Christmas, but Easter's great.
Yeah.
Barbecue or tacos?
Ooh.
Now you did
You
say your
already
main
said-
course
I know.
was
I said my main-
barbecue.
but I didn't even think about tacos. I love a good, but barbecue. I'm still sticking with that.
Barbecue taco.
Barbecue,
Barbecue taco. No, can't.
Mountains or beach?
Ooh, mountains.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird. I work at a church.
Peter or Paul?
Paul, because redemption.
Marinade or dry rub?
Why are you? This feels like a list that was made up by you guys. Like this.
It was.
It was. This is mainly
Can I call my dad?
Me
I
and
feel like I need to
Adam-
phone a
me and Adam,
friend.
do you like stuff marinated and stuff, or you just like dry seasoning on it?
Oh,
Oh,
probably.
think hot wings.
Oh, marinated. Okay.
Yeah, you
Oh,
like
okay.
saucy wings.
Yeah,
saucy
yeah.
wings.
Saucy wings.
Pork ribs or beef ribs?
Oh, I just had ribs the other day from Fox and Fire. Shout out. I don't know what they
Not a
were.
sponsor.
They're not a
Not a
sponsor.
sponsor. Oh, not shout out. Take
They were-
away
they
the
were
shout
pork- They
out.
were pork then.
They were pork. Okay, yeah, those were great.
Okay,
No, those
okay.
were great.
Hot
Yeah.
dog or hamburger?
Hamburger. Except it was Dollar Wiener night at the Royals game the
Hey.
other day, and my sister ate
What-
5.
Most important question: Star Wars or Star Trek?
Oh, Star Wars. For sure.
All right. Hey, and that is a wrap. We're going to have you back.
Oh,
That was fun.
Thanks.
All
This
right.
was really fun.
So stay tuned. Maybe more tests next week.
Please,
See
more
ya.
tests. Bye.